Hi guys, my name is Lindsay and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's kind of really important to me just because it really opened my eyes to a part of the world that I didn't understand before. And that is books that talk about autism. Now, I have not been diagnosed with autism, but I do suffer with a lot of social challenges. Facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, those are all things that can throw me off, that I can interpret incorrectly. And a book that I read within this past year that really meant a lot to me was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Now, this was not the first novel that I read from the perspective of someone with autism. There's Anything But Typical and Mockingbird. And those are two absolutely phenomenal novels that I recommend to anyone to read. But this is the most recent one, and one that really made an impact on me just because of, I guess, the time in my life that I read it. So, this is a story about a boy with autism who lives with his father. And his mother passed away. His father told him that his mother passed away, and he really struggled with moving on from that because he didn't go to the funeral or see her in the hospital or anything like that. And that plays into the plot very largely, so I won't give you any spoilers, but I just wanted to talk about kind of what it's like to read this for someone who has these social challenges. And show you some really good examples, I think, that are in this book. So, as someone with social challenges, it is not what everyone experiences. That's the first thing you have to understand going into a novel like this. Not everyone experiences social challenges or autism the same way that Christopher in the book will. But we all kind of share a common understanding of the lack of understanding that comes with interacting with the world. The best way I've ever heard it described is having a book on the language that is spoken in the foreign country that you're in, and you can read the book all you like, but you won't be fluent in the language. You're still going to be a little lost and a little confused, and that's kind of what it's like for us. You can tell us how to understand the expressions and the body language, and you can give us all the books you like, and we can do all the occupational therapy you like, but it's just the fact will be that we will never be fluent in language. And this book is a really good example of that. And so let me just share a few examples out of the book that really, I think, highlight that. So the first example is when he talks about his behavioral problems. And he makes this list that talks about it like other people tell him. And so he says things like, not noticing that people are angry with me, or hating France, or doing stupid things, or driving mother's car. Those are some of his behavioral problems. And so he lists them just like other people tell him they exist. But then underneath, he has little, I don't remember what they're called, but they're at the bottom and they have numbers. He lists them from sort of his perspective, or what he thinks of them at the bottom. And that's a really, really big deal to me, because not only are you getting it from his perspective, but you're getting what other people tell him that means. And we deal with a lot of that as social challenges. Like, I really do struggle with no filter. I say things as soon as they pop into my head, and sometimes I end up hurting people's feelings and have no idea because I can't read their face. And it's a really interesting thing to have other people tell you what happened when in your experience it was completely different. The situation had nothing to do with that. So that was kind of a big deal to see that so well executed in a book. Another thing is this. It shows the schedule that he wrote for himself for a typical day. And it's so specific and it's so laid out, and I think that really shows that sometimes you just need to understand what they've done for themselves. It's not always that we have no idea what's going on and that we're confused and that, it's maybe you just don't understand what our agenda and our schedule is. Communicate with us, because I'm sure that if his father had known his schedule, his life would have been a lot easier. And the third and final thing, and what I think is the most important thing that's shown in this novel, is his coping mechanisms. A lot of times people with social challenges and autism get things said to them like, well, why can't you just insert thing here? And it's not that easy. It really isn't. We try to do those things, but we don't do them successfully. So telling us that we're not doing them successfully and then suggesting that we do them successfully gets us nowhere. And he does things like reading all the signs in the train station, looking at the patterns on the wallpaper and the patterns of the seat, and he's focusing, trying to block out the extra noise and the extra stimulation, because train stations and airports and subway stations, they can be really, really overwhelming. And seeing the coping mechanisms in the book is kind of a really big deal, because it reminds you that everyone uses these coping mechanisms in some way or another. If people don't want to talk, what do? They put their earbuds in. If he feels like groaning and rocking back and forth, he counts the signs, he counts numbers, he remembers all the digits of pi, he will square numbers. He has his coping mechanisms. And his aren't really that different from ours or from a neurotypical person's. I just think that everyone should read books like this, because it provides such a good perspective of what it's like to live in a different mind than everyone else. So, yeah. This book is so good. I would recommend it to anyone who wants to understand more, and anyone that's just kind of curious. It's really, really good, and well written, and understanding. And thank you, Mark Haddon, for writing this. That meant a lot. So, yeah, that's my thing on books with autism in them. I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked it or would like to see more videos like this, please let me know down in the comments. All of my social medias are down in the comments, and if you'd like to read anything written by me, check out my Wattpad at thatquietnerdgirl. All one word. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye!